Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to Tiny Bunny. Yeah, it's a free game on the Steam store. It came out back in March, so it's been out for a couple of months, but it looked pretty cool. I want to give it a shot. It's a point and click game, but it had some pretty good reviews. Speaking of which, there was actually a good hint here. It starts off in a different language, so to change that, it's just the top left corner. Make it English. Alright, let's give it a shot. The wind clawed at my window all night long. It wandered the fields and howled like a hungry beast. An endless song, weaved from all sorts of voices, shrill, gentle, sneering, twined in the air. They were shouting and laughing, and arguing about something. Someone was running through the snow while casting long shadows that would occasionally creep close to my bed. Our house had a mind of its own, the creaky old mind of a building that had seen a lot in its days and was seemingly trying to share its wisdom with the inhabitants. The lonely house faced the forest, and the dark green thicket gazed back with its hollow eyes, rustling, whizzing, swaying back and forth. One could come and stand out at the edge of the forest to reassure themselves there was nobody behind the crooked trees. Fuzzy silhouettes swaying in the wind that couldn't possibly do any harm. It's just a play of light and shadow. Just a play. I knew it's just my imagination. I was already 12 after all. Still. Something's out there. Hey, put away your book. How many times have I told you not to read at the table? It's bad for your health. Look how slouched you are. Jeez, Mom. I guess I'll hide it. Damn it. I didn't protest and I put the book about Conan the Barbarian aside. I was stuck on a line I couldn't understand after reading it 3 times anyway. Oya had already finished her breakfast and was munching on some cookies. She was so enthusiastic, she almost looked like your typical girl from commercials. You're not going anywhere until you finish all of it. Alright, model mom. Damn. I, on the other hand, was still trying to drill a hole in the plate with my eyes, as if it would make the porridge disappear. Hazy anxiousness welled up inside, all because of the previous sleepless night, the black forest around her house and the gloomy wind. The longer I waited, the colder the lumpy white substance became. It looked like a jellyfish from the Costio Odyssey. I love that show. Wonder how horrifying the bottom of the ocean is. I agree. Or how cold the black forest is at night. The spoon fell out of my hand suddenly. Mom showered me with a cold glare from her green eyes. What did I just say? Eat it! I'll get it, damn. I had 10 seconds to catch my breath before battling the nasty porridge once again. By the way, it does make me click this twice to go to the next line. What is this carved on the other side of the table? Karina. Ha, it's my mom's name. I guess she carved it with something pointing when she was little. She sure was a rascal. Damaging the furniture like that. Talks like their mom that way. You would scold me for a week if I did something similar though. Should I remind her about it? Nah, she's been in a bad mood lately. All the time. I imagine her being my age, sitting under this table. I wonder, was Mom afraid of the dark back then? Or the sounds coming from the attic? Or the thick forest? This kid's pretty smart for... Jesus Christ. I imagine my grandma coming into my little mom's room, sitting at the edge of her bed, where Oya sleeps nowadays, and saying this to her soft, smooth voice. This in her soft, smooth voice. Dagger, it's a special place to the good. It's watching you closely, sniffing you out.
trying to discern what kind of beast you are. If you're a good sort, it won't abandon you in times of trouble. You feel me? But if you're a bad apple, they'll grab you by the side and drag you under the ground. And that would be it.
Grandma was caring, apparently. She never fought with anybody. Never yelled, never swore. There were times without the maddening screams until late at night. Without smashed dishes and mutual accusations. Jeez. Our parents used to love each other back then. Well, damn. I remember listening in one of their conversations by chance. They were talking about Grandma getting prepared for her funeral. She had already bought a casket. And she called it her cute funeral box. Right. It waited for its time in the closet, patiently. It was black, upholstered with meat-colored material on the inside. Ugh. I saw it when my grandma was getting buried. The house didn't change since the time she was alive. Only all those photos were gone. This kid's thinking about this at breakfast? I mean, damn. Glass-covered pictures with gray faces of my ancestors. They all have to be dead.
The watchful look in their eyes.
Jeez. I crawled out from under the table. Oya was done with her cookies, and she was looking at my share like a sly woodland critter. Really? I turned my gaze toward the frosted window. There were a lot of dark pines outside. They didn't grab my attention. A pattern of frost formed a picture on the glass. Oh yeah, look, it's a fox. Where? It almost looked like these optical illusions things they put on the back of student notebooks. Yeah, those things never worked for me. A mixture of lines at first glance, but if you blur your vision a little bit, just a little bit, and look under a certain angle. Outside, on the window. Look, here's the nose, and here's... Hey! Eat up! Damn it! Okay, damn, Mom. I don't see anything. Hurry up, there's not much left. What is her deal? Ah, there it is. But it still doesn't look like one. It looked just like it. And I'm telling you, it does. Damn it. Nuh-uh. It does. Stop it, these kids, I swear. Now, I couldn't see the fox either. Yeah, it's gone.
It disappeared. Went away. Only the frosty pad and some of the stretched out nettle leaves kept creeping from the glass.
Creeping. My dad entered the kitchen with long, measured steps. He looks like a hard ass. I want to have a beard like this one when he grows up. Mom would always ask jokingly, come on, shave it off, it stings. This was so long ago. Nowadays, rumbling doors and witty comebacks were an everyday occurrence. Oh, jeez. Oya always covers her ears whenever she hears something like, what's the point in this? Through the wall. It's all for your sake, Dad would reply. For the sake of our family. I always caught every sound in fear of hearing the most dreaded. The deadliest word that would start with a D. What, demon? Devo? I don't even want to finish it. It was scary to imagine that me and my little sister could be torn apart and taken into two different families. Not divorced, right? Anyway, your fox is nothing. I have an owl on my window. That was the little girl. You and your owl talk again. You said you believed in me just yesterday. Has anybody seen my car keys? Why are you always losing your car keys?
I remember leaving them on the windowsill.
Right. Maybe you did, maybe not. You're a grown man, father too, and still. Karina, just shut the fuck up. Damn.
Just let me get ready in peace. Their keys are in the basket near the phone.
Oh, that was her. Sorry. Well, thank you very much. Anton, stop making a martyr out of yourself and finish eating already. Damn. And the owl. There was no owl. You saw nothing. But there was one. It had giant glowing eyes. Oya sprung up from the chair and placed her hands on her little face, imitating a pair of eyes with her fingers the size of an apple each. Last year you had Bye-Bye in your closet, and now this owl. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I saw it. Oya shifted her gaze back and forth from Dad to Mom to me, but couldn't find any support. Have you thought about befriending it? You know, like feeding it with imaginary rice? Rice? Mice? Don't bully your girl. She's just afraid to sleep alone because she's still little. Oya pouted her lips in rebellion and rushed into the hallway. The staircase that led to the second floor creaked. Mom gave Dad a strict look. Oh, that look in her eyes. It was so uncomfortable to be pinned under it. Dad just snorted in reply and left, ringing with the keys he just found. A minute had passed and the theme song from The Little Mermaid echoed through the house. It was stored on an incredibly worn-out cassette tape, which Dad already had to glue together once. It's so easy to fix objects by gluing them back together, for example. Right. But how do you fix a relationship? Mom moved to the living room and I was left alone, anxiously stealing glances at the window. Damn, what's up with this kid? Shouldn't be thinking about all this shit already. Oya had trouble sleeping ever since we moved to this house. She would toss and turn to curl up into a ball under her blanket. Sometimes she would jump up in the middle of the night and turn on the VCR. Cartoons helped to take her mind off of the troubles we had with the move and her parents. This is after the divorce. And then Oya said she saw that giant flying monster outside her window. Doesn't look that scary. Oops, sorry. She became obsessed with it. Her parents did everything in their power. They tried every little trick to get rid of these ridiculous fears. Yeah, sorry. Oya refused to sleep alone and didn't believe that the owl was just one of her nightmares. After tonight, I was unsure what to make of my sister's words, what to think of myself. Can nightmares be infectious? Just last night, I couldn't get a wink of sleep, and I'm thinking of what to expect in my new school. And get a wink of it. There were a couple of days left before the beginning of a new term. My imagination drew along twisting hallways that led to a classroom full of kids. But all the students behind their desks were simply dark figures, cut out using a template. Circular holes gaped in the middle of their faces, and pairs of eyes blinked inside those holes. It was as if some completely different creatures were looking at me from behind the flat black silhouettes. Their cruel glares, filled with icy sneers, made me shiver from head to toe. Will I survive here? Won't they gang up on me and beat me down? Stomp on me with their bloodied shoes? The damn school can burn for all I care. I just wished for anything to happen to it. Doesn't really matter what. I didn't want to go to that. I didn't want to go there that badly. I didn't want to see people who are just itching to smack me on the head, trip me up, think of a new offensive name for me, worse than the previous one. Damn, this kid's life is shitty. I felt like the glasses I wore made me an outsider or some sort of monster. That sucks. My gaze slid across the drawings hanging on the walls. I couldn't consider myself a great artist, but Oya begged me to hang them. Drawing was the only thing that made me happy as of late. Yeah, those look pretty good. Nice cat. The small circle of friends I had also enjoyed my paintings, and they promised to call me from time to time. So you had friends? That's good. Sometimes I imagine Mom picking up the phone and saying in a cold voice, "You've got the wrong number." Damn, that says a lot about your relationship with her. Anton's not around. I imagine my future classmates lying in their beds just like me, listening to the howls of invisible werewolves outside their windows. Maybe my new classmates will like me after all. But who would ever like a boy with thick glasses? That sucks. I mean, my dad used to wear glasses when he was little. Now he's married to the most beautiful woman on the planet. My man. The house creaked, pressed by the wind. The condo we used to live in, a 9th-floor concrete building, buzzed with a neighbor's drill, mumbled with a TV set from behind the wall, cried like a baby from the big family next door. Our current house, though I can't really call it new, was completely different. It's a shitty old house. It was silent and easygoing during the day. Its shadows lay dormant in the corners on the closet, cobwebs, and under the stairs. But they all woke up during the night. Something was watching me from every corner, almost as if the old photos of my diseased family with their ashen eyes were hanging on the walls in place of my drawings. Let me turn this sounds up just a little bit. Just want to make sure they're coming through. Okay. The floor was squeaking, rusty drains were moaning, the attic was occupied by noisy drafts. One could think the house was performing some sort of demonic melody. And then I realized I was, in fact, hearing music. It was already playing for a good while. Somewhere at the edge of my perception, I could hear a flute. It was mixed in with the sound of the wind, of the creaking old house, and my thoughts too. I stood up and rushed to the window. I wanted to reassure myself that this music was nothing more than a product of my imagination. It's not like someone is playing it there. I missed the cold, snowy night, right? It's daytime to me. What? Someone was dancing in the field. Black silhouettes I could barely make out. The dark forest as their backdrop. They jumped around, basked in moonlight, bumped into piles of snow, rolled around and crawled on all fours. Stories about wolves playing under the moon came to mind. These were clearly not wolves. They stood upright at times, circled around holding hands and whipping up snow, disappearing into the shadows for a brief moment and then coming back. Something bizarre was going on. Shadows dancing in the starless abyss made my imagination go wild, making me anxious at the same time. Suddenly, the music had stopped. The dancing shadows froze in place and I could swear it pierced me with their eyes. One of the silhouettes immediately parted from the bizarre shadow Carvinal and sprinted across the field with giant leaps. Oh shit. It glided on squeaky snow without leaving any prints until it was devoured by the pitch-black shadow of my house, which became even darker and thicker. My heart was jumping around like a bird inside of a cage. I shut the curtains with a swift motion and stepped back toward the bed. They saw me. A freezing torrent of fear washed all over me. I stood in the middle of a perfectly dark room and listened to it. Some unwanted guest move and scrape around, looking for an entrance. The sound moved to the right, then circled around the house. Now my guest should be at the front door. I jumped in the bed and covered myself with a blanket, as if it could protect me. I never really understood that. The shackles of fear locked my muscles. I remembered the funeral, my grandma lying there, hands crossed on her chest, her facial features sharp like that of a tin doll. Come on. Ants running up and down the legs of chairs that held my grandma's casket. I imagined those little creatures climbing up her head and pulling up her eyelids with their tiny legs. Jeez. Then her wrinkly eyeballs would once again move inside their sockets, and she'd be able to see her grandchildren. It's pretty morbid. I was chanting the spell she taught me throughout the whole procedure. And now, lying under the blanket, listening to the squeaks and howls, I was repeating the same words. On the island of Buyan, underneath the blemished sun and the sea of colored blue, stands a cabin made of... they lay lard and ashen hair for the spawn from Devil's Lair to feast and always leave alone God's faithful servant named Anton. What the fuck? He believes this house must. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Bizarre sounds had disappeared. I cautiously peeked out from under the blanket and saw curtains waving around like a hangman. And then the night doused me with a new portion of boiling terror. The sound scratched my eardrums. In reality, something or someone was scratching at the front door, hurriedly clawing at wood demanding to be let in. The door was shut. Dad had become very cautious recently, so he installed a sturdy lock. I remember him staring at the forest intently, as if he was looking for someone. Ashes to ashes. Dust to dust. Oh shit. I hugged my knees, placed my chin between them, and drilled the door in my eyes. It was so flimsy and weak before the night of darkness. Damn. Parents must have heard that window smash. And then... the doorknob twitched slightly. And it turned halfway once, twice, as if the person who tried to enter had no hands. The doorknob tilted once more and then started clicking violently. My jaw cracked in fear and my fingers clutched the lid. The door creaked and opened. The wind taunted me, moaning inside the tin drains. Now you'll see. The door was wide open. The darkness arrived inside the cavernous way of the doorway, or mouth of the doorway. Tony! Tony! It was as if the night itself was calling out to me, flapping its black wings and squeaking with rusty hinges. I was trembling and snared by the web of darkness that hung in the corners of my room, waiting for the one who weaved it to come out of the gaping black hole. Damn. I feel like everyone's had that thought. Tony! Come get your pizza pie. My abdomen tightened and my chest rose up, ready to exhale a desperate scream, but before I was able to do anything, the darkness asked me. Tony, you asleep? My sister's pale face protruded from the thick shadows. I almost screamed from relief. Oya, I'm not sleeping. Did something happen? Oya frowned and stuck out her lower lip, a clear sign that she was about to cry. It's there again, staring at me. Shoo her away, Tony, please. I'm so scared. This kid's more scared than you. The fear that was tormenting me just a minute ago crawled away and hid somewhere in my stomach. I needed to calm Oya down. Good on you. It was just a dream, silly. Don't be scared. Dreams don't bite. No one's going to harm you. Oya sobbed. She was trying her best to believe me. But was I sure of myself? I have an idea. Let's go to your room and watch the video. Sleeping Beauty, for example. You like that cartoon, don't you? Yeah, it's alright. Why does the Sleeping Beauty have a prince and I have the scary bird? That question took me by surprise. Alright, let's watch Cinderella. Same shit. My thoughts became tangled, fuzzy. What was that? What studied me with its eyes was while dancing feverishly under the moon. Darkness was clinging to the window, and it couldn't be fooled by Grandma's old chants. It couldn't be satisfied with a feast of lard and long ashen hair. Yo, Tony, you coming? Yes, just a moment. Squishy. Damn, so that was a dream. That's why I didn't want to laugh at Oya and her owl in the morning. Who could be visiting us here in the middle of nowhere? We don't know anyone around here. So persistent. I felt extremely unsettled just from a silly thought that our morning guest could have come from the woods. I could barely hear voices coming from the front door. My mind was urging me to hide. In the closet. Under the table. Behind the curtains where Oya always hides. Tony, come here. I felt like kettlebells were tied to my feet, but still dragged them toward the hallway. A couple of policemen towered over me in the doorway. They smelled like frost and blurry. My mom always winced and grumbled the moment she saw patrol cars, worse than bandits. At the moment, though, she looked somewhat confused. Hello. The senior officer who wore a grim expression nodded. What's up? A boy had gone missing yesterday. His name is Bova. Look at this, please. Have you seen him? The policeman held out a photograph to me. was a ginger boy around the age of elementary school, pictured with a wall carpet as the backdrop. He had a striped cat in his hands and wore a wide smile. The cat's like, what? Taking a picture? No, I haven't. Are you sure? Look closely. Where would I see him? I don't know anyone around here. I barely leave the house. Good question. Well, maybe you see him from the window. What? That's right. Our windows look straight at the forest, don't they? The window. No, I haven't seen anything. Smart. Let's see. He sounded tired, but his eyes, his stare long and heavy, was full of suspicion. Why would he be suspicious? I squirmed unwittingly under the weight of guilt, which had a giant shadow cast over me. Why do you assume he saw something? The policeman finally tore his eyes from me and glanced over the hallway, the stairway, and the cracks in the ceiling, which I hadn't noticed before for some reason. How do you like your new place, by the way? Getting used to it? Bit by bit. It's just our little daughter misses the city a lot. Misses the city, huh? Have the locals been treating you well? Maybe I can take you out sometime. Yes, everything's alright, thank you. Policeman pierced through me one more time with his gray eyes. My head started spinning. Can I help you somehow? I asked that in a shaky voice to look like a polite boy and to end this unpleasant conversation sooner. Now that I think about it, you look just like one of my nephews, little fella. He's a woody boy around your age. Wears the same type of goggles. Always engrossed in reading those mystery novels. Told me he wants to enroll in police school when his family visited this summer. What are you gonna do with your life? Wanting to help other people, just like me, see? I felt uncomfortable, as if a distant relative, and not a police officer, stood before me. Understandable. You know what? Little boys like you should stay at home. Steer away from trouble. Times have changed so much. Mom interjected in a cold voice. You don't say. Well then. What grade are you in, Tony boy? How do you know my name? 6? Have you made any friends here so far? Not yet. I'll be going to school for the first time after the break. Then I'll leave you my number, just in case. Call me if you have any new info. Okay. The policemen were gone along with their shadows, the smell of cheap cologne, and the photo of a smiling boy. It's like anybody in the house would have had just as much odds of seeing something than him. His face stood there. I wonder what it was like for him being all alone there. For some reason, I thought of the forest, swaying in the wind. What did his poor parents feel? He's a very emotionally intelligent kid. But what would my parents do if I had gone missing? Would they cry and thrash around hysterically? Would they accuse each other like they always do and forget about me eventually? That's probably how you feel. Mom, this is Vova. Did he go missing in our forest? Or this Vova. Seems like it. Poor child. I looked out the window at the road. The police UAZ drove off toward the whatever. The officer's nephew came to mind when I was splitting off old paint from the windowsill. Sorry. I remembered all the teenage mystery novels from the Black Kitty series I've read this summer. Black Kitty. Your average boys and girls investigated all sorts of mysteries there. They looked for clues, spied on suspicious people. And after a set of amazing adventures, bam! Solved any complicated case. They became local celebrities and must have made their parents very proud. I noticed a trail of policemen's footprints that led to the forest. And then it clicked in my head. Why don't I start an investigation on my own? Maybe I'll find that lost boy. That's the spirit. And I'll get a reward. Oya will be so happy. Not only Oya, Mom and Dad too. Maybe they'll even forget about their quarrels for a while. That sucks. Maybe I'll even save us from the D word. I fantasized about buying Oya a Tamagotchi and getting a cassette player and a bunch of tapes for myself. The 90s, I guess. And a whole box of Kinder Surprise. When was the last time our parents bought us any toys? Last autumn, I think. My dad had lost a job at the time. There's that annoying song about it. What was that? I had little to no idea what was the accountant's job like. They count money, I think. Neighbors used to envy us. But nowadays, Mom and Dad barely had money to afford sweets, and Dad would always divide a single chocolate bar between me and Oya. Sometimes I gave her my share too. No matter how much I wanted to eat sweets, she was still just a pipsqueak. I couldn't wait to go out looking for clues. I'm going outside. Yeah, right. You want the police to go around with your photograph next? Well, the forest is so thick. What if the boy got snatched up by wild animals or something even worse? Why are you putting that thought in his head? Even worse, echoed through the hallway. I won't go far. I'll stay away from the forest. Did you hear what I said, or should I repeat myself? Better go pack your school bag or play with Oya. Man, that's fucked up. He was actually excited about something. The sound of splashing water came from the kitchen. It meant that the argument was over and Mom had the last word. She's 6. Oh. The dark, stuffy closet. Mom says it smells like mice, but how would she know their smell? True. She hates when I stick my nose in there. She's afraid I'll cut myself on the freshly sharpened axe. Oh, good to know that's there. Oya can't even be lured close to it. She thinks Babaya is living in there. I tried to help her fight her fears once. I opened the door and turned on a dim lamp so she would see there was nothing but cobwebs, Dad's tools, and scratched walls. But still, I'm sure she was like, nah. She still didn't believe me. Yeah, of course. Then I like to hide in the closet and listen to Oya count outside. 1, 2, 3. Better hide from me. 1, 2, 3. You better hide from me. And then drag her feet on the creaking floorboards, hoping that she wouldn't need to look for me in the cramped monster's den. Anton, I'll whip you if you make a single step out the door. You'll whip me? What is this shit? She looks it's just a little too much. I'm gonna go into the fridge here. Grandma kept ice cream for me and Oya there, but now I could only see meat, bits for soup, and clubbed together. Buminin. I grew to hate them already. I guess that's it. Emirkam of Russia has declared the state of emergency due to adverse weather conditions. According to the weather forecast, a cyclone is moving toward the region. Expect heavy snowfall, blizzards, and snowdrifts on the road. Keep your eyes open. Take care of yourself. I don't know why I gave him that voice, but... It's cool that when I go past that, it makes a noise there. I mean, what else can I do? Oh. This cross had seen so many people come and go in this house. It was black as if absorbed all human sin from the long years it was hanging onto the ceiling. Damn, kid. After Grandma died, Mom was going to take it off and hang a horseshoe in its place as a lucky charm. But she cut herself with the cross sharp corners and almost fell from the stepladder. So you just left it there? Dad called it a sign from above and ordered the cross to be left alone in its rightful place. Alright, whatever, Dad. Get out of here. My parents prohibit me from making long-distance calls, but from time to time I really want to hear my old friends. Sometimes I would just pick up the phone, listen to the low hum of the zoomer and the distant crackling, imagining the wind howling in the ice, leading chords. Okay. Let's see. Mom's peg top, family relic, sits on the stairs. My mom played with it when she was little, then she gifted it to me. Why is it right there? Well, it was next in the succession line. The toy belonged to her now. She stared at the dancing spindle as if it could show her something, a fairy tale, or maybe even our future. Even my little sister was a bit too old for the old squeaky peg top. Yeah, that's an outdated toy. Especially if it's like the 90s. Like, who's playing with that? Okay. Well, let me click on this again. Yeah, so I got everything on here. Let's go back to the kitchen. Let's use this in here. The side of an old ocean freezer was checkered with my childish drawings, Mom's recipes, and all kinds of stickers from bubblegum to dinosaurs that Oya liked so much. Among that still life picture hung a piece of ruled paper with the phone number of the police officer who visited us. First Lieutenant Tikhonov. I read inside my mind, looking at the officer's sprawling handwriting. That's pretty good handwriting. A scrap of paper was held by 2 pieces of a broken magnet from some old Soviet toy, and those pieces just barely covered the numbers as if to taunt me. I leaned toward it to unveil the mystery and take the piece to a safer place where it would wait for us in its time when I would finally time when I would finally find Vova and be the first to call the police with this happy news. Anton! Mom's reproachful eyes stared at me. What do you need it for? Hands off, you'll lose it. Angering my mom was the last thing I wanted, so I lowered my head. You're totally killing this kid's self-esteem. Unbelievable. The decrepit and stain-covered calendar was once my favorite form of entertainment in Grandma's house. Really? Damn. I remember waking up and running to the kitchen so I could tear off yesterday's leaf, first thing in the morning, as if the coming day would get lost in the Taiga forest without my help. Right. Okay. One day closer to New Year's, one day closer to my grandma's funeral. Damn, he's pretty upset she's gone. I haven't touched this calendar for years now. Since the time they started writing dark and spooky death chants that only made me gloomy instead of funny proverbs and superstitions, to be exact. I grabbed a dusty calendar leaf of caution and tore it off effortlessly. So you still do it then? Sadly, the spooky descriptions from my childhood were still there. 7 horses carried the log. If 7 can't carry, bring the 8 from a ferry. They will take it away and never come back. This is the fate the log cannot escape. I crumbled the gray leaf and threw it in the waste bin, hoping to get rid of the anxiousness that washed over me. Damn, it sucks to be this kid. It was spreading inside me like an ink stain on blotting paper. That suck. Okay.
Машина, в которой он находился, была обстреляна неизвестными вооруженными лицами.
Куплю жене сапоги.
Это просто, Леня. АО ММС.
Okay. What do I do now? Alright, so I think that's everything here. So I need to distract Mom somehow, or I'll get scolded in my ass whipped with Dad's leather belt. Fuck. Alright. Okay, sorry, I got stuck there for a second. It was difficult to lie to Mom, but there was no other way for me to run away from home. Mom, something's wrong with the TV. The picture is dim and there are stripes all over the screen. Mom's face became visibly distorted. You're killing me here! So have you had enough of shooting those stupid ducks now? Told you the kinescope will go dim because of your console. Where will we find a TV technician in this hole, huh? Maybe it's just the settings? Please go see for yourself. Strange, it worked fine in the morning. Maybe the snowfall caused it. Mom rubbed her hands clean on her apron and went to Oya's room. Nice. Yeah, scream, Mom. I opened the front gate and went into the field. Carefully so Mom wouldn't see me from the window. When I crossed to half of the distance toward the forest, the snow piles became as high as my knees. I remembered my nightly fears. I saw those silhouettes around here. They were jumping around, holding hands. That hypnotizing music started playing in my head all on its own. In the light of day, those distant figures felt like a simple dream. The sun turned my nightmares to ash, but the aftertaste was still there. Distant ring in my ears, distorted shadows, crawling on the snow alongside me. And a barely audible whisper in my head, blurry and almost kind. Everything was silent. So silent, I felt like the world was totally empty. No ground, no sky, no parents, no oil. Time reached its limit, a one-way trip that ended at the forest's piney stockade. Sometimes silence was much scarier than any scream. Our parents would scream at each other while arguing, and both me and Oya turned to stone listening to them. But then always came the ringing silence. Our apartment became numb a couple days before we departed. It was hard to remember the last time Mom and Dad joked around, laughing, or spent time together, almost like all of it was in a previous life. When they kissed with Oya present, she always frowned and snorted in a funny way. One day, all changed. Something important had left her home, and something scary filled the remaining void. It was as if a fire broke up, and our parents were hurriedly packing our belongings, trying to save themselves and us. From who, though? From the people with dead cold eyes, who sometimes visited us in our previous home? The eyes that only saw balls of worms on the black ground and everything? And somewhere far away a siren was going off, trying to warn us on the coming menace? I shuddered, chasing away my delusions. I looked around. There were only me, this white field and the wind that was whipping up icy dust and belts of powdered snow. I squinted from the sun and turned my eyes to the sunless forest. It looked especially dark in contrast with the blinding whiteness. Knobby tree roots slivered under the snow like fat snakes. Rotted leaves and coniferous needles froze in the ice. Dry, prickly branches intertwined, bringing up uncomfortable thoughts about fences. What's this right here? Were they protecting the forest? Or were they keeping something from breaking out? Some object was hanging from one of the pointy branches. I tried to get closer, drowning in snow, and when I almost got to the edge of the forest, I saw a knitted mitten. It looked like a wounded bird among the hungering semi-dark. Should I take it to the police? Their senior officer looked gloomy, but he still reminded me of Captain Casanova from my favorite TV show called The Streets of Broken Lights. It was also always anxious, with a tired look in its eyes, but still brave and strong. Will this mitten help them find the lost boy? Vova! I heard a distant shout. Looked like it came from the river. Vova! As if the trees were calling out to someone. Vova! Resounded closer to me. Someone was standing there, behind the trees, hiding. Vova! I knew someone was looking for the lost boy, but still, something was unsettling about that figure. Its stillness, how it was bent unnaturally toward the ground. Its blackness. There's no one there, just branches and roots. It's all just my imagination. A nearby bird flapped its wings loudly. A shadow split from the tree and disappeared from my sight. I looked away for just a moment, but when I turned my gaze back to the same place, it was gone. So was my imagination after all. Silence reigned for a painfully long time. My muscles were tightly sprung, my heart was beating somewhere in my throat. Any noise, any little movement, any small whisper from the thicket, and I'd sprint. But nothing of the sort happened. I looked at the mitten once more. Definitely take it. I decided to take the lonely mitten from the branch. Vova! Oh shit. A shout rumbled across the field and dissolved into the distance. No echo, no hope for a reply. Maybe you should get back inside. I stepped toward the bristly trees and tried to clean my find. It didn't budge. I pulled harder and the branch cracked and the mitten tore off, landing my hand on the squishy sound. All too heavy, wet. I squeezed it without thinking, and some dark spilled from it, forming a tiny string between the mitten and the snow. Steam rose from the snow pile. It was blood. I froze in place, studying my palms in disgust. Red. The sound of crackling branches invaded the silence. I didn't have to think twice before running away. Someone was chasing me from the darkness, breaking pine branches, closing the distance with giant leaps. Snow was slowing me down, crazy thoughts flew through my mind. I'll get caught. They'll get me. I'll get dragged into the thicket. I'll be gone, forever. There was one more voice, probably one of reason. It gave me strength, spurred me on. You can do it. Don't stop. I heard an animal roar behind me. It was so loud my ears went numb. It felt like the sound had come from a pack of hungry beasts rather than a single one. Their nostrils sucked at freezing air. They sensed my fear. 2 giant wings flapped above my head. An enormous shadow flew over the clearing, a hoot, a wheeze. They were coming from all directions now. From the dried up raspberry bush, from twisted vines, from under the windfall. Run! Don't look back. I felt like I was inside a nightmare. The snowy clearing became vicious and quicksand. I was stuck in place. I pulled my leg from the mushy trap just to be caught into a new one, even deeper than before. I continued to drown, sinking deeper and deeper with every desperate push. Was snow ever this sticky? I screamed in horror after realizing it wasn't snow. Someone or something in the snow pile was clutching my pants. I gathered all my strength and rushed forward. The pressure on my leg was gone. The boot slipped out of the hole, my soles were on the hard surface again. I reached a clear path with one jump and from there ran to my house. Its gloomy facade didn't look threatening now. That house was my line of defense from shadows that flapped their wings and the creatures that were hidden in the snow. I tripped over the doorstep and smashed into the door. In all my hurry, I still managed to notice the claw marks. As if a dog was striking the wood with its paws, demanding to be let in so it could escape the cold. I hadn't noticed these marks when I was leaving. The heartbeat in my ears was so much louder than my surroundings, I couldn't hear whether someone was following me or not. What if they were already in our front yard and Mom had locked the door? Drowning in fear, I pulled on the doorknob and it obediently gave way. I rolled into the hallway and shut the door behind me. Porch planks creaked as my pursuers ascended the stairs. My fingers slipped off the lock and I couldn't click it into place. I gritted my teeth and pulled hard on the iron knob, whipping it between the boards. I stared blankly at the door. Someone was standing on the other side of the pitiful, flimsy barrier that was probably less useful than blankets. Wheezing breath reached into the house and crashed at me in waves. It smelled of pine and sweat. Mom peeked out of the kitchen and chastised me with the same frigid voice she had used earlier when she always used talking to Dad. What exactly didn't you understand when I told you to never slam the door? I didn't mean to. I snuck a glance at the door. The smell was gone. The breath was too. If there was someone in the first place, of course. Here, mere 5 meters away from Mom, my fear was slowly weakening, melting like snow in spring, and with it the last bit of strength I had left in my body too. My legs gave way. I propped myself up against the wall so I wouldn't fall over. Mom's expression had changed immediately. The cold mask of strictness and detachment was gone. Mom looked the same as before all those quarrels. She finally saw my condition and wet pants plastered with snow. Where have you been? What did I tell you, huh? I told you to stay home. Am I nothing to you, too? I got afraid she would cry. You might put that on your kid. Like, you can blame him. It's not his fault. I got afraid she would cry, so I reached out to her like I was very little and wanted her to cuddle me. It's such a messed up relationship. But Mom regained her composure fast and put on her usual face. Her eyes shined like steel. Her voice rang out. Your dad can't find his cigarettes. Be honest, did you snatch them? Were you smoking in secret? Damn, it's nothing like that. There was someone chasing me, I thought. I stuttered as soon as I started explaining myself. Tears welled up in my eyes. Mom leaned toward me and sniffed my clothes like a beast, searching for the smell of tobacco. Then she squinted her eyes in suspicion and looked into the front yard. Her expression changed in an instant and she covered her mouth with her hand. Look over there at the fence. My heart started thumping as if I became a prey once again. My pursuers were following me in the field. I couldn't swear that I've heard something scratch at the door, just like in my nightmare. I could swear, rather. Mom beckoned me with her finger, and I gathered all my remaining bravery to look into the kitchen window facing my fear. Oh shit. I could barely discern some hairy silhouettes swimming in snow through the icy winter patterns on the glass. Dogs. Just a small pack of strays with no name and owner, barely reminding of the hungry monsters that lived on the edge of the forest. Oh boy, were you scared of them? I think they'd rather be scared of you, Anton. They were chasing me, like a bunny. And what if they were rabid? The smile had slowly disappeared from my mom's face. Now she looked at the dogs as if it was her first time seeing them. What if they attack Oya? Mom, I wish your dad could just shoot them all. Mom, look, they're alive. Huh? What? Are they your friend or foe after all? Make up your mind. You're not a little kid anymore. Man, this mom sucks. Mom sighed in annoyance, and I felt so bitter that I bit my lower lip and fixed my gaze on the cobweb-ridden corner. This kid's gonna grow up with so many problems. Well, some detective I am. In reality, I wasn't risking my life among monsters, but rather my pants among a pack of stupid strays. And what for? What use do I have for this? Mitten. Of course. A dark and sticky mitten that belongs to the lost boy made a squishy sound in my hand. Seems like I was clutching it the whole time. That trump card as a detective. I hurried to present this clue to my mom. Oh damn, this shit is covered. Mom, look, it's Voa's mitten. That boy the police were asking about this in the morning. It's drenched in blood. I found it hanging on a tree. I can show where. Let's call the police right away, like the officer had told us to. Mom, look. Ew. A shadow of doubt slowly crept onto Mom's contorted face, as if she was trying to remember something distant, like someone tries to remember their dream, but the images slip away. Stop it this moment. Oya will go insane if she hears you. She already has trouble sleeping and whines all the time. And you joke around like this? Can't you tell it's blood? At that moment I realized the mitten was actually wet from snow. Ah, damn. There was no blood whatsoever. I wanted to sink through the floor from embarrassment. Come here, my boy, he cried Rolf. Oh, don't stand there. Come, take your pills. My pills? A golden-colored pill, reminiscent of a dead wasp, fell onto my palm. I already took one during breakfast. Don't talk over me. He wasn't. I told you to stay home, and Dad would have given you a good whipping for that. Come on, take it. I won't be able to sleep at night. You have school tomorrow. So I had to swallow the better medication, drinking it down with similarly awful water. It gave off a taste of chlorine. Maybe it wasn't Vova's mitten. Maybe it wasn't a mitten at all, just like the forest monsters, and Oya's owl. Am I going mad? What's happening to me? Either the pill had immediate effect, or my overexerted brain didn't feel inside anymore. Serenity washed over me, bringing yawning indifference along with it. Ah, damn. This is how you think you're fixing your kid, huh? Anton, you done? See? You can do it when you try. What? Take off your coat. Are you asleep? No, Mom, I was just thinking. What about, I wonder? It's just something silly. Mom scrutinized me with suspicious eyes, as if she wasn't sure she was looking at her own son, not some doppelganger that came from the forest. Is everything alright? She had the exact same expression when the policeman asked you about the window. I'm alright, Mom. She heaved a deep sigh. Fine. As if you care all of a sudden. It seemed like the house had changed. The sofa's fabric had become discolored. Fingerprints appeared on the bathroom tiles. The light bulbs also felt different, dimmer, and yellower. Even the saliva inside my mouth had a different taste. A melody from Aladdin could be heard from the upper floor. Oya was down rewatching her favorite Little Mermaid episodes and switched to other tapes. I slowly changed into my home clothes, stopped before the sink and studied my reflection in the mirror, like I was trying to solve one of those spot the difference puzzles. Then I went upstairs. Your father's and Lager's voice just died out. I walked past Oya's bedroom and slipped into my own. Let's check out this room. One of the drawers was empty. I hid the mitten there. This simple action drained the last bit of strength from me. Good call. I sat on the bed. And only then, I noticed there was someone behind the curtains. My tired hand dropped to the sheets. Whether it was due to medication or I took or the stress I underwent, the room began to contort as if the wind was blowing the walls out like a pair of sails. The room's corners bent and undulated. The only stable thing in the whole room was the figure between the window sill and the curtains. A flimsy piece of cloth was stuck in my hidden visitor, just like a savant of sorts. Oya? Who else would be standing there? I stubbed and licked my dry lips. Yeah, Oya, it's so funny. The silhouette was unmoving. It was enveloped softly by the curtains, except there was a thick layer of darkness there, not a human being. I reached toward the curtains. Badam, badam, badum, badum. Beat my heart, controlled by medication. The wind sang in the field with a chorus of voices. For a second, I wanted to return to the bed. Just lie down and watch the person behind the curtain, knowing full well they were looking back at me. They're looking without blinking, waiting for me to fall asleep. Plastic rings rustled against the holder when I pulled open the curtains. Gotcha! I knew it was you from the beginning. Blindingly bright halo lit up above Oya's head with the setting sun as the background. My sister was shining. When she was just a baby, Dad always used to say she was shining with happiness. I always retorted, but Dad, she's not some flashlight. I brought her to the window one day and sunlight poured on her smiling face. I felt like I was holding a child woven from light. I saw everything. Oh, really? What did you hide? She was just like mom. She was just like Mom when she was little, before she put on a sad mask of tiredness and switched to her commanding tone of voice. It's nothing, just... Oya ran up to the table, her eyes round, and asked, "You stole something and hid it there? Are you a thief?" "What? Don't be stupid." "I didn't steal anything." A clear image came to mind, that mitten hanging from a tree branch. What if I did steal it after all? From the forest, from the tilted figure standing behind black trees. Or it could be selfish and stubborn when she wanted. Then show me. Swear that you won't tell anyone, then I'll show you. Oya wore a plotting smile. I swear on Mom's heart. An oath she heard in one of the movies about the pioneers we watch. Don't say things like that. Oya nodded and made a gesture with her hand, locking her mouth with an imaginary key. She was filled with curiosity that was splashing in her giant eyes. I opened the drawer and Oya leaned in, holding her breath. It looked like there was not just a simple mitten, but some sort of exotic critter. Is this someone's mitten? She said that as she couldn't understand what she saw. A certain boy lost it and got lost himself. Now do you understand how dangerous it is for kids to wander into the forest, right? He must be really cold out there. Will they find him? They will. The police are going house to house showing his photo to everybody. Oya traversed the room with care and pressed her tiny palms against the window. And why are they going to houses and not the forest? Are they scared? The question caught me off guard. The police aren't scared of anything. Yeah, right, flashed in my clouded mind. Did they really check every nook and cranny where darkness, cold, and whispers of icy branches dwell? If that's the case, how did they miss the mitten? Or did it appear later for me? I changed the topic, as if trying to get Oya as far away as possible from the forest thicket. We may get rewarded if I go and find this boy myself. A lot of stuff, like in Field of Wonders. Sounds cool, right? Oya wasn't listening to me. She was piercing the forest with incredibly adult eyes, uncharacteristic for her. What if the owl got him? Nonsense. An owl won't be able to lift a human. But you know what? I was picking my words with utmost care. I forced them out of my overexerted brain. Stay away from the forest. I think it's, how should I put it? It's cursed or something. Just like in a fairy tale? No, not like that. More like in that spooky tape Mom and Dad are hiding from us. Oya shivered and stole a glance at the window. I saw you running away. Someone was chasing you? No, it's just I was hurrying back home so Mom wouldn't be worried. As I looked at my sister, my heart was tearing apart. She was so fragile. It was so easy to stifle her light. A gust of wind and her small fire would be gone. I mean, you're kind of the same way. You're lucky. Mom won't even let me go outside. I'm like a princess in the tower, can't go anywhere. I'll die from boredom here. You're wrong. No one has ever died of boredom. And you have me and your cartoons and Mom and Dad will be good to each other soon. You know what? I would wish for on my next birthday? I'd wish for Mom and Dad to turn into children so we could go and play together like we used to. Damn, it's sad. Yeah, and if you'd make them as small as bugs, we could place them in a little box and crush them. Oya giggled and tugged at my sleeve. Tony, let's go watch a lad. Fatigue won over my desire to be with my little sister. I was washed over by some sort of heinous apathy. I'm too tired. I don't want to. Come on. It's so boring alone and Mom is always busy. We can pick a cartoon you haven't seen before. I know all of our tapes by heart at this point. Not all of them. You haven't watched Peter Pan? Remember how you fell asleep in the middle of it? And so much happens after that? Let's go, let's go. Maybe a bit later. Should I tell you how it ends? Let's leave that for tomorrow. I won't tell you tomorrow. I know. Let's play hide and seek. No, Oya. Then draw me a dino. Oya, please. Draw it. Will you leave me alone already? I blurted out without thinking, and I was immediately taken back. I'd never screamed at my little sister like that. Oya stared at me in shock. Her lips started trembling, a precursor to tears. My chest was seething with disgust and embarrassment. What's happening to me? I hurried to prevent Oya from crying. Alright, you win. Let's go watch cartoons for a bit. I don't want to. I came up to her, but put my hand on her soft head. Let's go. Let's go watch Peter Pan. Boo. You'll fall asleep again. I smiled and lifted her chin. Her eyes were wet and felt bottomless. I promise I won't. I'll draw you a full Triceratops later. Hooray. Triceratops. Well, close enough. Oya rubbed her eyes with a sleeve of her pajamas and a shining smile returned to her face. I'll go ask Mom for condensed milk and bread and you rewind the tape. The bread is fresh just how you like it. It's how everybody likes it. Alright, just be careful not to spill the milk. You'll be yelled at again. Want to bet I won't spill it? The tape is somewhere in the nightstand. Look for it. Oya disappeared into the doorway and dragged my feet into the neighboring room. The old Photon TV was gathering dust in the corner. That good old VCR. All that was left was clicking the button on the front panel. The tube warmed up and familiar white boys started dancing on the black screen. I almost reached out to turn on the VCR when the noise calmed down and the blurry image appeared for a moment. It was a dark tiger forest just like the one outside my window. The picture split in half. The picture split the screen in half. Something creepy resembling human speech was coming out of the speaker. Just a few minutes later, the scenery was again overshadowed by noise. Did it capture some rogue signal? Local TV station only really showed Soviet cartoons, and even that was pretty rare. And only just recently I used to always watch Robotech before school. It was so awesome. Maybe I should tinker with the antenna? What if I catch this channel again? On the other hand, Oya asked me to find the tape. It wouldn't be nice to disappoint her, but in my sleepy state, I don't have the strength for all of it. Let's find this tape. Was that Predator? I sifted through the shelves full of dolls and blue hippos, like from Kinder Surprise. I found the tape I needed, thanks to its shabby spine. Oh, VJ. I got the black rectangle from its box. The tape inside it rustled while rewinding to the beginning. This rustle was lulling me to sleep. Drowsiness attacked me while I was squatting before the TV. Images whirled in my head, me and Oya flying above the forest, tumbling in the soft clouds. My little sister is laughing. Her smile becomes more and more forced with every passing second. I noticed that the clouds underneath us apart, bearing the bristly pine tops. Swampy darkness slurped among the trees. The wings are no longer able to hold us in Oya. You haven't started without me, have you? My sister brought the tray with unevenly cut bread and a whole can of condensed milk. I rubbed my eyes. No, come sit. Mom and Dad are arguing again. They're going through rough times. Rough times are lame. On the screen, Wendy was hiding Peter Pan's shadow into the dresser. Oya was entertained by the cartoonish dog Nana. Maybe Mom and Dad will buy us a dog too. Yeah, right. I'll have my own dog in Neverland, and a cat, and a parrot. Oya smeared a slice of bread with a thick layer of condensed milk and handed it to me. Have you lost all your baby teeth? Obviously. Oya frowned deep in thought. Peter Pan has baby teeth. What if they won't let you go in his land with adult teeth? Well, we'll think of something. We'll ask Dad to alter your age in the passport. And why would Dad forge documents? Oya took a bite from the sandwich and started talking with her mouth full. I heard Mom, they didn't do that wrong. You grow ears as big as Dumbo's. Oya got worried and touched her ear. I smiled to myself. Chestnut. My little sister was silent now. She just devoured bread watching the adventures of Peter Pan, Tinkerbell, and James Hook. As if she got sucked into the fairy tale Neverland. To be honest, I also imagined myself there in a land where no one ever ages. No one argues over little things, where no one listens to fights and the sound of broken plates at night. I felt like I was dreaming with my eyes still open. Then my sister's scream pulled me back to reality. Tony, shut the curtains fast. Why? No one's watching you. It's dark, and when it's dark, the owl comes. I'm scared. I got out of bed fighting my drowsiness and closed the curtains. I did my best not to look outside towards the treetops, towards the taiga forest, which seemingly drew closer and closer. Of course, it was just a visual effect from shadows of branches scraping the snow. Tony, Mom thinks I made the owl up. And Dad, too. Thinks I'm a liar since I'm small. But the owl exists. Honestly, it does. You do believe me, right? That comes every night, and... I swiftly grabbed Oya's hand and looked at her in the eyes. I was trying to transfer at least some of my courage and determination. But did I really have those qualities? True. Yes, I believe you, alright? Just don't nag our parents about it anymore. They're already dealing with a lot, so they'll just get mad at you. Come and tell me if anything happens, and don't look out the window. If it wants me to look, it doesn't matter. Act like it doesn't exist and never existed, like it's made up, just like Mom and Dad say. They'll get tired of waiting and fly away. It was madness, but after everything that happened recently, I was more and more inclined to believe Oya's owl existed. We followed Peter Pan's adventures as if nothing happened, as if the force didn't kidnap kids, and as if our parents weren't tearing each other apart bit by bit. Captain Hook was running away from a crocodile, and Captain Pan was headed to London on a gilded sailboat. By some miracle, I lasted longer than my little sister. Oya's eyelids had dropped. She started snorting lightly, resting her chin on the side of the bed. Creeping over. I stood up and left Oya's room. I was looking out the window, studying the field, when Mom peeked out. Enough playing around. It's your first day at school tomorrow. Go to bed. You should sleep properly. You don't want to be teased for being sleepy, right? Get the fuck out of here. Damn. Adults think everything is so simple. As if sound sleep would ensure my classmates would like me. I covered myself with a blanket up to my neck and listened to the house humming, to something rustling, invisible rustling in the corners. My inner voice had a question for me. Do I want to hear the mysterious flute again? Yes or no? Maybe it was just part of growing up and I can't fully understand my own desires. The force wailed behind the barrier that was my walls. Some ethereal entity wandered the fields. Branches shook as if calling for me. The wind howled on in the night. My thoughts were like annoying flies that entered my head before becoming weak and tangled. I didn't notice how I fell into slumber. Alright, well that was it, episode 1. It does say there's going to be 5 episodes. This is the first one out. Like I said, it's free on the Steam store, so I'll put the link in the description below. But yeah, I really enjoy it. I'm definitely going to continue on with this once the next episode comes out. It's written very well. It's definitely entertaining. So I hope you enjoyed it too. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you like my channel, please subscribe. I have a few more videos coming out this month. And yeah, I appreciate it. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.